Hi, everyone. Welcome to all of my participants of the Love CPR group. And as promised, here is my weekly live Wednesday evenings, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm talking about a very important topic, the link between accepting compliments graciously and self-esteem. And people don't realize what a great link this is. And I really want to highlight this because when I am working with people, and I do work with people regularly to establish, to help them, facilitate them in establishing their own self-esteem. Wow, the dogs are going to start now. I am always really checking in to see how do they take compliments. My question always is, how do you take compliments? And many people are polished enough to know that you're not supposed to say anything negative, or, some people will continue to say something negative, but some people about themselves when another person gives them a compliment. But many people know that the polished response is thank you. A lot of people will still have this desire that after they say thank you, that they want to do something a little bit more to put themselves down. And as Marianne Williamson says, that there is no enlightenment in making yourself small so other people can feel good. In fact, we are all meant to rise up and to stand in our own beauty. So the link between receiving compliments from a gracious place and self-esteem is to get rid of all of those misunderstandings that don't allow us to receive compliments in a very beautiful way. So I want to go over some of the things around accepting compliments. One of them is a misunderstanding that if we are going to say thank you graciously, completely feeling the wonderfulness or the beauty of what's being said to us, that we are somehow going to not be humble. So I want to really clarify that true humbleness comes from this such a deep belief in yourself, in your worthiness, in being special, that it never needs any kind of impression upon somebody else about how amazing you are. It doesn't require you to put anybody down so you can feel good. My dog's gonna go crazy because everybody's coming home and he's guarding for no reason. It's so cute. It requires, so that's what true humbleness is. True humbleness is not, putting yourself down and using and not realizing as in seeing from your the absolute blessing that you have been given. So that's what true humbleness is. So that's one thing that people will keep in mind. That's a myth that people have, that if I accept the compliment that I'm going to become self-obsessed or narcissist or anything like that. The other misunderstanding that people have is that every time you accept a compliment graciously, people don't understand that they are basically loving the other person who is giving the compliment. It is such an act of love to receive from people. Yes, of course, it's easy to understand how it's an act of love to give to people. But, the misunderstanding is that people don't know how to receive, especially people who love to invite love in their lives. They're many times complaining that I don't get enough love, I don't get enough, attention or love in return. I want all of those people to notice that, are you a good receiver? You have to be a good receiver. So when I give a compliment to somebody, I just feel so complete and whole. My experience is complete when that person receives that compliment wholly. But when that person, I'm in this place where I'm just totally loving them and giving them a compliment, and when they refute and they can't receive and they block my compliment, I almost like get out of that beauty of love, and I'm like, what's happening? Like, I don't understand, but I just think this person is so beautiful. And inside, I'm not just talking about exterior beauty, which is also important, but why are they blocking this, and why can't they receive it? So my experience is not complete. So it is a beautiful gift that you give people by receiving their compliment graciously. So that's the second thing I want to tell you. And now the third thing I want you to keep in mind is that what they say about compliments is that every time one person gives you a compliment, there's 10 people who thought the same thing, but they didn't say it. So when you do get a compliment, really, really, take it in and just think about, when you do resist, what is it about yourself that you are resisting this compliment? So the self-talk that happens after you have received a compliment that might be negative is what we need to start changing in order to build true self-esteem. When we are doing the work of building a true and pure self-esteem, we are basically trying to build a very strong relationship with ourselves. And that relationship requires trust. Just like every relationship requires trust, the relationship we are building for ourselves that is going to have esteem for ourselves in it requires trust. I need to be able to trust myself that I'm going to be there for myself. For example, if I call you a friend and then I put you down when somebody compliments you, it is not building a trust. Building a trust with myself would be that I would tell myself that I can entrust me with myself, that I'm going to be okay or happy or loving with myself no matter what happens, whatever I do or I don't do, whoever I am or whoever I'm not, whatever I look like or whatever I look like, whatever I don't look like, that no matter what happens, I'm going to be loving with myself, that I'm going to love myself, that I will be there for myself. And that is how you build a strong relationship. So it's not when you reject compliments, or worse, start putting yourself down when somebody's giving you a compliment. It is not in line with that relationship. Because if I love my friend and somebody's giving them a compliment, I get all bubbly and happy inside, and I want to join the party and maybe even give some more compliments in addition to that. I'm not going to say, wait a second, and start putting her down, because that's not how I feel. And that's how I want you and me to feel about ourselves, that we are going to love ourselves more and more. Sometimes when we do something, I know that sometimes when I get compliments, people say something to me that I didn't even think of. It just wasn't in my perception. I wasn't looking at that in that way. And it's just such a beautiful way to learn about yourself or see yourself from the eyes of another. It's almost like I get to take a ride on other people's perception and see how people are feeling and thinking. Here's another consideration that I would like you guys to have. How much do we not keep in mind every time some random person says something negative to us? Just like somebody passing, we don't even have to know their name. Let's say it's somebody online or it's somebody who's passing by and they say something negative to us. Let me tell you, we're going to think about it for so long. It's like not even funny how we absorb those messages. And so my request would be that we have enough within ourselves. There has to be enough built up in ourselves. There has to be such a strong relationship that our opinions of ourselves are the most important one. I know that Nathaniel Branden says this one quote by him that I love, which is that by far the most important opinion that you will have of anyone is the opinion that you have of yourself. I know I totally messed up that quote, but it is so beautiful the way he says it. And so every time, and now what I want to give you is a remedy. Suppose, there was a time When I couldn't receive compliments myself, I just couldn't take them. I had to bring myself down. I would think that, oh my God, this person's going to be like, oh my God, she totally took my compliment. And then I would also go into this crazy sort of assessment that, wait, are they just saying it because they want something from me, because they don't know what else to say, because they want a compliment in return? And I would jump to, oh my God, I have to return the compliment. And you can, but you don't have to. But what I'm saying is that you are not, it is not your responsibility to be in everybody's experience, everybody's hearts and minds. It is not your responsibility to police everybody's authenticity. If somebody's being inauthentic and they're giving you a compliment because they want a transaction from you or whatever, that's where they are right now. It is not your job to filter every single compliment that comes your way to figure out whether it was a true compliment or not, whether it was correct or not. You just have to take it as they're giving it to you and just accept it lovingly and graciously, knowing full well that you, in receiving a compliment, you are giving the complimenter a gift. So now I have a remedy for you. And the remedy is something that I have used on myself as well, and it works like magic. Is that the next time, that sometimes, and the reason I have this remedy is that I remember once making a decision that I shall not put myself down next time somebody gives me a compliment. But even though I had made that decision that I won't put myself down, it had just become habit. Like somebody would give me a compliment, there would be no space between the compliment and something just coming out of my mouth to, oh no, this is horrible, it's actually really bad, or just quickly trying to cover up my weird anxiety that I would go into when somebody would compliment me, to suddenly compliment them. And sometimes I could tell that when the person had complimented me and I complimented them back in this way from a nervous energy. I'm not saying that when somebody compliments you, you shouldn't compliment them back. But where is the place that you're doing that transaction from? So I would do it from this nervous energy. And when I was done, I could tell a little bit, because obviously, we are all good readers of other people, that person felt a little cheapened out, like I didn't really take their compliment, or that they were thinking that they're doing it so that I can give them a compliment. But the reason the response would come and blur out of me so quickly without any kind of it was a reaction, it was not a response, there was no space in between, was to cover that anxiety that I'm feeling. Get curious. I got curious. What is this anxiety about? What am I so worried? What is going on? But the remedy that I had it came from my realization that a lot of the reasons I am doing it, even though I had processed and understood why I do this, and I already had decided that I want to get rid of it, the remedy that I had came from the self-knowledge that the reason that now, even though I understand why I do this, I don't want to do it, but I keep doing it, is because now it's a habit. So when I understood that, I had this remedy that I use with all of my clients and worked on myself, which is that in the next 2 weeks, look forward to or be ready for the next time somebody compliments you. And as soon as you hear the compliment, I want you to stay with yourself. If you're in the habit phase like I was, even though I had made promises, and you see yourself quickly blurring out some negativity or some denial of the compliment, I want you to use that very moment that it happened to undo what you did. As an example, if you say to me, oh my God, Sanya, I love your pants. They are so amazing. And I start to say something like, oh my God, these pants, they're like horrible. They're for $2. They have rips in them and things like that. If I find myself saying that right at that moment, you want to remedy it. And you want to say, actually, you know what? These are my go-to pants. I really do love them and they're super comfortable. Whatever it is that say something positive. Because you know what? You're listening. You are with yourself and you're listening to yourself put yourself down. And that's just not okay. It is not okay for your relationship with yourself. Now, when you do this in conversations, you're going to look really weird because that person's going to be like, wait a second, Sanya, why are you still talking about your pants? I thought this exchange was over. So there is going to be an awkwardness in this remedy that I give you. And that is the awkwardness that I'm going for. I want you to feel a little bit awkward in that moment, because in that moment, when you made when you had a deficit with yourself by putting yourself down, I would like for you to make a repair. And the repair does look like walking upstream. And the repair is a realization that yes, I am going to be awkward in front of this person whom I don't know why, I'm not sure why, but I'm trying to impress. But the person that I really, really want to choose to impress is me. The person whose back I want to have more than anybody's is me. That yes, this person is watching me, and yes, I'm going to be awkward in front of this person if I continue to speak about the compliment and clarify something that I said negatively. It is much more important to me that I witness myself making the repair than what this person thinks of me, which is that it's probably going to be a weird turn that the conversation is taking. Now, I'm going to give you one out, but don't keep taking the out. So suppose the next time you did this in front of somebody, it was somebody, I don't know, your boss or something, I don't know what, but in a situation that you can't embarrass yourself for whatever reason, even though I don't see a good reason not to do that. But suppose there is one, I'm giving you one out. And that would be that if that did happen, that transaction did happen in that negative way, for you to go back to go to a mirror, connect with your eyes, and apologize to yourself. Apologize in detail with specificity. What happened? Why did you do that? And make a re-promise. Make a promise again. It's literally like having a conversation with a friend when you were a little bit of a you-know-what. And so it is just so important to guard that relationship. You and I, all of us know that when we love somebody, those people in our inner circle that we love, we don't put them down. And so this is why it is so imperative for each of us to really learn to take compliments as a part of our building up of ourselves, our recognizing our power and our beauty, and so that we can gently reside in it, not impose on other people what we think our beauty is, but to gently reside in it and to enjoy the blessings that whatever blessing, everybody has a blessing, whatever blessing God has given you or you have gotten or universe has given you, if you don't believe in God, to enjoy that and to embrace it. So thank you for listening. Please comment below on your experiences of when you have done something similar. Use some of these techniques that I'm giving you, use them right away and tell me how that goes. Reach out to me in comments below, wherever you're listening to this. And, email me if you have more questions, if you want more guidance on building your self-esteem. My email address is sanya@sanyabari.com. Subscribe over here or like this if you enjoy the content of what I said. Love and light to all of you guys, from my heart to yours. Thank you, Adriana Medina, for being here. Thank you, Kamau. I really hope I'm saying your name right. And thank you, Ayana. Love seeing you here. Take care, guys. Goodbye. I'd see you next Wednesday at 5:15 p.m. again. Goodbye.